Good afternoon and welcome back to the West Ham Network. This is your Hammers headlines in association with our good friends over at Knees Up Mother Brown, KUMB.com. Make sure you go across there, check out the fantastic comment as per usual. Now, every now and then, we don't talk about the headlines. During the Hammers headlines, what we do is talk to you about the David Moyes press conference, because West Ham do take on Bournemouth at home tomorrow evening, and the press conference has just taken place with David Moyes. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. The first question he was asked about today was team news. What was the update about team news? Now, we're hearing all about players coming back from AFCON. If anyone has picked up an injury, will they be available or not for the game? He gave an update on the team news and he said, updates and injuries. Well, there's nothing really to bring you up to date on injuries. Moyes is back from AFCON, which is good, which we did know about. We saw him in at the training ground doing some work, and Edson Alvarez is doing much better. We also saw images of him tackling Calvin Phillips, new signing Calvin Phillips, ahead of the game against Bournemouth in training as well. So at least we know we've got those players back. Apart from that, I think that's about it. Now, what you will notice from this press conference is it is pretty short and sweet, to be honest with you, and that tends to be what happens when it's a Premier League game midweek and we do have a presser later and close to the game. He wants to go and do as much prep as he possibly can, so that is usually what happens. He was then asked about the exit of Naif Aguerd since Morocco did get knocked out yesterday evening. He says, I expect him to be back with the squad soon. We just don't know when that is. So he could be arriving back to training tomorrow. Will that be too early for Bournemouth? Yes, but available for Manchester United at the weekend, I would have thought so, and that is, of course, a positive sign for West Ham moving forward. Next was some words on Calvin Phillips, the new signing we brought in. He said, we're talking about a boy with a really good character. And he said, I heard Pep Guardiola's comments about him, and I would agree with those, having had him here for a week now. We want to see his footballing ability. Now, I think he's got a chance now to get himself back on track. We've brought in another England international to our squad, and that's a big plus. Is he ready to start tomorrow? I don't know. He's not played much, but I know he's been training and keeping himself going. But I couldn't give you an exact answer right now. And I think that's the answer we probably expected from David Moyes. He's never going to give everything away. He's never going to give the opposition the one up. And when it comes to Calvin Phillips and the inclusion of Edson Alvarez, JWP and Souček, you don't really want to give your cards to the opposition, because by changing it up and bringing Phillips into the team would change a little bit of the dynamics of the game and see what we're going to do moving forward. Obviously, we don't have Paquetá. Obviously, we have the transfer window closing tomorrow whilst we're playing a game, which is not ideal for West Ham. But yeah, I think that it'll be interesting to see the team selection ahead of the Bournemouth game, of course. He was then asked about Bournemouth themselves. And remember, the Bournemouth manager earlier in the season was under a lot of pressure. And he said the manager has done a brilliant job with them. He's got them playing really good. And we're up against some strong opposition. But we're seeing that every week, given how strong the league is. And it is. And we have to be really mindful of the fact that they've got a man in form up top, Solanke, a player that West Ham fans turned their nose up against when we were linked to him, especially for the cost that we're asked for. But you don't get many strikers score many goals in many of the top leagues in the world without having to pay a high level fee for a player. I think a Solanke type striker would probably be quite good and well suited to West Ham, but we need to definitely keep an eye on him moving forward for the game in itself. Now, what was an interesting topic of this press conference was Danny Ings and his impact, and what David Moyes said in retaliation to that. He said, we're desperate for Danny to be the Danny we want to see through his goals. When he arrived, he got a couple of goals against Nottingham Forest. He's not had as many opportunities due to different things, but I thought he played very well against Sheffield United. We played him in a deeper role, and I hope he has been saving his goal scoring opportunities for the weeks to come. So there you go, solidified his position at West Ham. Danny Ings will be staying at West Ham. There's no way David Moyes would say a comment like that, give the boy a bit of confidence and then say, do you know what, I'm going to sell you over the line. And it'll be interesting to see how he utilises Danny Ings moving forward, because obviously he did play in that deeper role and he did look like he was lively and up for it as well. So again, that very interesting point of view with regards to Danny Ings. So a few topics covered in that presser. Players back, not sure 100% when Naif Aguerd will be returning through to training, hopefully available for the Manchester United game. Calvin Phillips available for selection, as is Moyes, as is Jared Bowen. as is Tommy Soucek, James Ward-Prowse and Edson Alvarez. So good all round. Interesting to see what we do for the game against Bournemouth, but either way, it's a big game for us. Let's hope we can get a job done and start pushing our way up that league again. There's your short, sharp, sweet, straight to the point David Moyes press conference. If you're new around here, hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up, leave a comment. Of course, go and check out Knees Up Mother Brown, KUMB.com for their fantastic content. As per usual, join us later on because we've got some new shows going live with Jamie as well. So join us later on tonight when that will be a live show, interactive. Get yourself involved in that 9 p.m. start. Take it easy and of course, come on your hands.